Our battlefields for this game are Bandletree for Jameson, who's playing Teemo, Swift Scout, and Altar to Unity for Stafford, who's playing Darius, Hand of Noxus. Stafford will get us started by drawing for turn, and then, because he chose to go first, he'll channel 2. Then, he will exhaust both of them to play a Legion Rearguard into his base exhausted, and then he'll pass the turn to Jameson. Jameson will draw for turn, and then, because he is going second, he will channel 3. He will then exhaust 2 to play a Ravenbloom student into his base exhausted, and then he'll pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will draw for turn, and then he'll channel 2. Then he'll move his Legion Rearguard into the Altar to Unity to score his first point. Next, he will float 1 energy and recycle an Order rune to play his Seal of Unity. Finally, he'll exhaust his Seal of Unity, and he'll use that power to hide 1 card at the Altar to Unity. Then, he'll pass the turn to Jameson. Jameson will draw for turn, and then he'll channel 2. Then, he'll get started by moving his Ravenbloom student to Bandletree to score his first point. Next, he will use his Teemo's Legend ability to put a Teemo he owns from his Champion Zone to his hand. Then, because of Teemo's Legend ability, he will pay 1 energy to hide a card at Bandletree. And since Bandletree allows for 2 cards to be hidden there at once, he will hide a second card there as well. Then, he will pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will score a point for holding the Altar to Unity, then he will create 1 recruit in his base exhausted. He will draw for turn, and then he'll channel 2. He will get his turn started by exhausting 2 runes to play a Cull the Weak. Jameson will react with his hidden Teemo at Bandletree, and then he will kill his Ravenbloom student. Stafford will kill his recruit, and it should be noted that Stafford should have been the one to kill his unit first there, but since everyone is still learning the game, we'll let it slide. Then, with nothing else to play, he'll pass the turn to Jameson. Jameson will score a point for holding Bandletree, then he'll draw for turn and channel 2. He will get started by exhausting 2 runes and playing a Watchful Sentry to Bandletree. He will follow that up by using his Teemo's Legend ability to return the Teemo from Bandletree back to his hand. Then, he will pay 1 energy to hide a card that is definitely not a Teemo at Bandletree, and he will pay 1 energy to attempt to gust Stafford's Legion Rearguard at the Altar to Unity, but Stafford will respond by hidden blading his own Legion Rearguard so that he may draw 2 cards. And with nothing else to do, Jameson will pass his turn to Stafford. Stafford will draw for turn, and then he'll channel 2. I promise we did not accidentally put the same turn in twice. Stafford will start his turn by exhausting 2 runes and his Seal of Unity to play a Cull the Weak. Jameson will respond with the hidden Teemo at Bandletree, and then he will kill his Watchful Sentry. Because the Watchful Sentry died, Jameson will draw a card. Having played a card already this turn, Stafford will use his Darius' Legend ability to float 1 energy. Then, he will exhaust 3 more runes and play the Noxian Guillotine, targeting Teemo. He will recycle 1 Fury rune for the Noxian Guillotine. Jameson will respond to this by playing the hidden Blast Cone Fae at Bandletree. So, even though Teemo will die, Jameson will retain control of Bandletree. And, with nothing else to do, Stafford will pass the turn to Jameson. Jameson will score a point for holding Bandletree, then he will draw for turn and he will channel 2. Jameson will pay 2 energy and recycle a Chaos rune to play Guerrilla Warfare, which will allow him to add 2 hidden cards back from his trash to his hand. He's only going to add back Teemo because that is the only hidden card in his trash currently. He will then pay 6 and recycle a Mind rune to play his Kaisa Evolutionary at Bandletree. He will then pay 1 energy to hide a card that is definitely not Teemo again at Bandletree. Then, he'll pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will draw for turn, and then he'll channel 2. He will then exhaust 5 runes and his Seal of Unity to play Machine Evangel into his base. He will follow that up by using his Darius' Legend ability to float 1 energy, then he will pay 3 more and recycle a Fury rune to play his Noxian Guillotine targeting Kaisa. With all of his runes exhausted, Jameson has no choice but to let the Kaisa die. And with nothing else to do, Stafford will pass the turn to Jameson. Jameson will score a point for holding Bandletree, then he will draw for turn and channel 2. Stafford decides that having been on the field for an entire turn cycle, he should probably go ahead and finally read the Blast Cone Fae. And again, I promise we aren't repeating turns, but Jameson is going to pay 6 and recycle a Mind rune to play his Kaisa to Bandletree. Then, with nothing else to do, he'll pass the turn to Stafford. Now, apparently a big fan of reading, Stafford decides he should find out what Kaisa does as well. Stafford will draw for turn, and then he'll channel 2. He will get started by floating 1 energy and recycling a Fury rune for his Seal of Rage. Next, he'll use his Darius' legend ability to generate an energy so that he now has 2 floating energy. Then, he will exhaust 4 more runes so that he has 6 total energy and can play his partner, Darius Executioner. He will rest the Seal of Unity to pay the power cost. He will then follow that up by moving his Machine Evangel and Darius Executioner into the Altar to Unity to score another point. Finally, he'll pay 2 to play his Noxus Hopeful due to its Legion ability, and then he'll pass the turn to Jameson. Jameson will score a point for holding, then he will draw for turn, and he will channel 2. Jameson will get started by exhausting 1 rune to play Stupefy, targeting the Machine Evangel. This will give it -1 might, and Jameson will draw a card. Next, he will pay 1 more rune, and because the Evangel has been reduced to 3 might, he will gust it back to Stafford's hand. Jameson will then exhaust 2 Chaos runes and recycle them to play Rebuke, targeting Darius Executioner. This will send it back to Stafford's hand. He will follow that up by playing the Hidden Teemo at Bandletree. Next, he will gank his Kaisa over to Altar to Unity to score another point. Then Kaisa's ability will allow him to play a card from his trash with a cost less than the amount of points he has. And because he wants to draw, he will choose Stupefy, stupefying one of his own units so that he may draw a card. Now, he will pay 1 energy to use his Teemo's legend ability to return the Teemo on his field to his hand. Then, he is going to hide a card that is definitely not Teemo at Bandletree. He will follow that up by paying another energy to place a hidden card at the Altar to Unity with Kaisa, and finally, he will pay 1 more energy to play another hidden card at Bandletree, and then he'll pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will draw for turn, and then he'll channel 2. Then he'll get started by playing a Seal of Unity, paying for it with his other Seal of Unity. Next, he will use his Darius' legend ability to float 1 energy. Then, he will exhaust 5 runes and exhaust his Seal of Unity to play his Darius Executioner ready because of its Legion ability. Now, he will move his Noxus Hopeful and Darius Executioner into Altar to Unity, causing a showdown. Jameson will respond with the Hidden Teemo, which will have 4 might due to its ability. This will leave 10 might on Jameson's side and 11 might on Stafford's, so Stafford will win the showdown and conquer Altar to Unity, but Jameson will kill the Darius Executioner. So, Stafford scores another point. He will then finish up his turn by exhausting 5 runes and recycling an Order rune to play the Machine Evangel into his base. He will then pass the turn to Jameson. Jameson will score another point for holding Bandletree, then he will draw for turn and channel 2. Jameson will get started by exhausting 2 runes to play the Mushroom Pouch. Next, he will exhaust 6 and recycle a Mind rune to play the Wraith of Echoes at Bandletree. With no cards left in hand and just needing to defend Bandletree to win the game, he will pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will score another point for holding Altar to Unity, and this will create a recruit in his base. Then, he will draw for turn, and in the most painstakingly slow way possible, he will channel 2. He will get started by exhausting 6 runes and his Seal of Unity to play his Darius Executioner into his base exhausted. He will follow that up by doing the exact same thing, except it will come in ready because of its Legion ability. Because he has to either kill all of Jameson's units at Bandletree or Jameson will win the game, Stafford moves his Machine Evangel and Darius Executioner into Bandletree, causing a showdown. Jameson will play the Hidden Teemo at Bandletree, and then he will play the Hidden Sprite Call at Bandletree, playing a 3 might sprite to the location with Temporary. This showdown ends with 14 might for Jameson and 11 might for Stafford, but the 11 might of Stafford's will kill all of the units that are at the battlefield except for the sprite, and then because the sprite has Temporary, it is going to die before Jameson gets the hold point on its next turn. So, Stafford has successfully saved the game, and then he'll pass the turn to Jameson. The sprite will die in the beginning phase, then Jameson will draw for turn, and he will channel 2. He will play the only card in his hand, Wraith of Echoes, by exhausting 6 runes and recycling a Mind rune. Then, he'll pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will score a point for holding Altar to Unity, which will create him a recruit token in base. Then he will draw for turn and channel 1. He will get the turn started by moving his Darius Executioner into Bandletree to score another point. He will follow that up by moving the recruit in there as well. Next, he will exhaust 3 to play Faithful Manufactor into Bandletree, which will create him a recruit at Bandletree. And then, he'll exhaust 2 more runes and uses Darius' legend ability to pay 3 to play Vanguard Captain, which because it has Legion will play 2 recruits at that location as well. Having successfully fortressed up at Bandletree, Stafford will pass the turn to Jameson. Jameson will draw for turn, and then staring down Stafford's fortress, he will channel 2. Jameson will get started by moving his Wraith of Echoes into Altar to Unity. Since he's at 7 but can't win the game off this, he will draw 1 card. Jameson will exhaust 2 to play his Ravenbloom Student. He will follow that up by exhausting 3 and recycling a Chaos Rune to play Cemetery Attendant, which will allow him to go through his trash and add a unit back to his hand. He puts a Teemo back into his hand, and then he will pay 1 energy to hide the Teemo at the Altar to Unity. He will then pass the turn to Stafford, who will win from holding Bandletree. Thank you all for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.